Good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about how you can start to plan your lineup for next year. So I'm going to be talking about a popular term used here in the stationery community in Japan and how it can be helpful for figuring out your future lineup. Basically it's a Techo Kaigi. It's a Japanese word meaning like a notebook meeting or gathering if you've never heard of it before. And you can lay out your planners and journals in front of you, or more commonly I see here is people like to draw out their techos and write notes next to them on how they plan to use them. I did something kind of similar at the start of the year in my Hobonichi Hon. Something like this, but I didn't write how I was going to use them. I just kind of drew the covers and things like that. So something similar to this. Okay, so what I've done today is prepared ahead of time sticky notes with different ways to use a planner or journal. And I'll read them quickly, and these are just ideas, so ignore the ones that you have no interest in, and of course put ones that you feel like aren't here that you need for your own planners and journals. But you can use them for creativity, work, gratitude, appointments, movies and TVs and books tracker, health tracker, school, travel, journaling, memory keeping, schedule, habit tracker, ink or tape swatches. We have social media, cafe, memo and notes, to-do lists or tasks, spending or household spending, language, collage, and museum. So these are the themes or ideas or topics that I think are more commonly used here, or at least I see online, so we'll start with these first. Okay, so I don't know if you are a one journal or a multiple planner person watching. I have multiple planners and journals, but I have a 3 main planner system that works for me. It's still good though when you do this to include like periphery notebooks as well. I see, like, again, I'm just sharing what I see more commonly here in Japan, that people tend to use multiple notebooks, but they also like put into consideration how much time that they have to use them. Like what I mean is basically before moving these sticky notes into groups, like to the groups that you want them, I still think it's a good idea to think about how much time you have to put into each. So, you know, some journals and planners and notebooks are weekly, daily, or travel only, or for me like cafe only. So even if it's not in your planner system, it's good to include them even if it's not for your daily use. And so I'll narrow these sticky notes down to the ones that I want to use. Okay, here we go. So these are the ideas that I want to use my planners for, and I also have the notebooks and journals here as well. I brought them out here as well. And you may be thinking that maybe you don't know which brand or style that you want for next year, but I still think it's good to group these items together. Maybe you want one planner that can journal, be creative, for collage, gratitude, and you want to travel with as well. That tells you that you should buy a planner that can accommodate those needs. And now I've organized my sticky notes into my system, and you can kind of see it come together. Okay, so in front of me I have my Hobonichi Hon, my Traveler's Factory notebook in the passport size, and I have several Hobonichi weeks, and I brought in like some from past years, so it's more clearly different than the other ones, because instead like this year they're all have like a yellow theme. So I will show you them laid out, and I will show you the sticky notes that I have selected for each of these. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go over just what I've used these for, since maybe you don't recognize some of these. This Hobonichi Weeks here is for washi tape samples. This Hobonichi Hon here I use currently as my time blocking creative space. This is my planner from last year, and it's super functional, and as you can tell, there's a lot of needs in it. And then this is my current cafe journal. This was my memory keeping journal 2 years ago, and this one here in the corner is my museum techo. Okay, so this is what I need for next year, and this works for me because I'm not so fond of duplicating information into multiple planners, and I think you could see it more clearly if you have a lot of sticky notes that you use for appointments, and things like that. So this shows me that, I'll have this one mainly for appointments and things like that. And I also want to say that I can still be creative and journal in this Cafe Techo even though I didn't put those sticky notes on it. But again, this kind of shows that I want to limit the time I'm in this journal to when I'm in the cafe only. So I can be creative in this one more daily, and if I need just a creative outlet, I will use my Hobonichi as my kind of creative space. But when I'm in the cafe, I also want to be creative. I also want to journal, but I could do either or. I could do both. So this one's a little bit more flexible, and I've set the expectation that the time spent will be in the cafe. And I also think that in this way you can also see if you have any leftover sticky notes. This could be an area now where you can go digital, or you can test it out in your current lineup to see if it will fit, or maybe you realize you won't need it as well before the next year. And I'm pretty much staying consistent in my current lineup, but this Techo Kaigi helps me visually organize my planners and journals so I can get the most out of them. It helps me buy according to my needs, and there are so many different planners and journals out there, and even in the Japanese stationery stores here, there are so many distinguished brands and styles, really well-known brands and styles available. And for me, it's easy to get swayed by a cute cover or a design aesthetic, but for it to stay, it has to work for my needs. And this Techo Kaigi sticky note system I got going on here is just the start of your thinking process to why you want to open your journals and notebooks, your driving force to open them and look at them and use them for your everyday needs. So I think that's very important. And again, this is just the start to planning your lineup, and you don't even need to do it this way. You don't need to do the sticky note system. You can also draw it out. I have also prepped a little bit ahead of time. And online I see stuff like this, or maybe not this colorful, but people draw out their Techo Kaigis and they write the names. I made a mistake. This is not a Traveler's Company notebook. This is a Hobonichi Weeks, but just for looks, I didn't want to change it or white it out. But yeah, I mean, this is a way you could do it. You could just draw it out and list what you need it for, and or you could start with just the ideas you want and just list them here and kind of branch them out as well. So there are different ways to do a Techo Kaigi. This is just one way, but it really works for me. Okay, so that is it, I guess. So I hope this helps someone out there. And again, this is just a start to the thinking process. And again, this doesn't answer which brand you should go for, which style is best for you. Is it vertical? Is it horizontal? Do you need weekly, daily, monthly pages? This doesn't necessarily answer it, but it gives you, I guess a criteria of what to focus on. Do you need more pages? Do you need more calendars? Do you need daily pages and things like that? And for me, this works. And yeah, I just I'm very excited for next year, and I hope you guys are all getting excited for the new releases. So I will see you guys next week, and I thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye guys.